to the Notary Ninja Show, the Notary Ninja Podcast 2024. Hot topic today, going to drop some gold nuggets on you. Is the notary industry saturated? Hey gang, it is Mark, the Notary Ninja. Just want to thank you for supporting the Notary Ninja podcast, the number one podcast in the notary niche. Head it over to our YouTube channel and check that stuff out, as well as check out our additional trainings. We have the best prices and the best information on the market that we offer with a guarantee we can stand by. So if you go to legal.prepnotary.com/notary dash academies, you can see a description and pricing of the different courses we offer, which are mini courses all the way up to master classes. So check that out, legal.prepnotary academies. Links, of course, in the description. And of course, you could head over to mark-sias.mykajabi.com and also find purchase links for those courses. Again, thank you for supporting the Notary Ninja Show, the Notary Ninja Podcast. Okay, so is the notary industry saturated? This a lot of people have addressed this, but they don't really address it and back it up with data or logic. They just kind of give a response that yeah, it is because of this, or no, it's not because of that, and don't go into a breakdown. So we're going to do a breakdown on this, and we're also going to talk about what I call the larger market theory. In other words, what to do if you are in a crowded market. So here we go. Is the notary industry saturated? Well, the short answer is no, it's not. And I'll back that up. And is the volume of notarizations that you're used to decreased? Yes, if you are primarily involved in notarizations related to the real estate market, sure, they've probably decreased nationally significantly. There are pockets of the country where things are still going, there's still building going on and whatnot. So, with that respect, some areas maybe not hit like others, but as far as the big boom with refinancing and everything, sure, that volume of notarizations has decreased. So let me just address a couple of things right off the bat. In almost every niche or service, there is a scarcity mindset that perpetuates the idea of saturation. For example, when I worked in nursing and I was in critical care, in intensive care, in the top of the food chain, and one of the highest paid in that, there were always nurses that were worried when the new nurses were coming around doing their clinical rotations through school that they were going to fire all the high paid nurses to hire these new nurses so they didn't have to pay such the higher rates, and that it was utter nonsense. It was total crap. I never not had a job. I was never not constantly headhunted for work as a nurse. But there were still nurses that I worked with that had a scarcity mentality, that it was going to be taken from them, that there wasn't enough to go around, okay? And that is a scarcity mindset that perpetuates these belief that there's saturation. So the same thing in insurances. Guess what? Like you could say the same thing. Insurances are saturated. It's if there's a low barrier of entry, so there's surgeons everywhere, or there's insurance agents everywhere. There's surgeons everywhere. There's attorneys everywhere, right? Is it saturated? No, it's not saturated. Are there some markets that are more competitive than others? Sure, there are. Let me give you some real time examples. So, as a signing service, I probably fill 5 to 10 orders outside of mine, like outside of what's coming through my door for documents or for notary, or mobile stuff I'm serving in my community. But outside, out there in the world, in the United States, I probably fill 10 a day. And out of my weekly, which is pretty good for a little small outfit, but out of my weekly totals, on average, a half dozen of them, I can't fill the order because there's not a notary available. Even in towns that would be relatively populated. For example, a week ago, I had an attorney that we were going to pay very good for an estate bundle, Peoria, Illinois. I think that's Illinois, yeah. Couldn't fill the order. Wasn't enough notaries. There weren't enough notaries that were available. So again, no saturation there. Could have used another notary, right? That was available. So we've had one that recently comes to mind, Alexander City, Alabama. A few notaries there. It's not really a big town. It's a smaller town. But there's only a few notaries there. The same thing. Couldn't fill an order there because the notaries that were there weren't available, and there was only a couple of them anyways. So not really a saturation issue there. Just so, for example, I have trouble filling orders, even sometimes in more populated areas, not because of the price I'm paying, because I will always go higher on the price and I'll always go a little further on the reach to get an order filled when I have to, and can still have difficulty in some areas. Now, there's other areas like South Florida, Orlando, Tampa. I never have a problem filling the order. Okay, Fort Myers, I never have a problem filling the order. So it would be more competitive. So there's going to be I look at it on average when I put out an order. We'll say for like a VIN verification. On average, if I text out to 20 different notaries, I'm going to get 3 or 4 that are a positive fill. So there is a 3-4 to 1 competition. So there is a crowded market. You might find yourself in a more competitive market, and we're going to talk about how to address that with a larger market theory. See, hey, real quick special announcement. We have lists. For 2024, we have decided to roll out lists of signing services at incredibly good rates. So a list of 200 signing services is $7. A list of 300 signing services, $17. And then we have our curated list with live links, even list of field inspection companies, kind of our top down, the best ones first. That curated list, which also comes with the apostille training and some other stuff, $97. Incredible. So this is something that probably going to be a limited time thing, but we're rolling that out for 2024 so you can get a good fast start, get connected with signing services. All right. So that's it. That's my plug for that. All right. So here we go. Larger market theory. So see, everybody is running around trying to chase down the real estate deals, and that creates opportunity in other places. So let me put this in context for you. Okay, for starters, do your neighbors on your street know what you do, know what you offer? So if they don't, you should do something about that, right? If they do, then I would say, your apartment, your street, your neighborhood, do they know what you do and what you offer? Okay. So if they don't, do something about that. Okay. Now, number 2, there are people in your community that don't actually know what a notary is or does. Okay. So there is a market there. So you have what we would call a market of people who aren't even problem aware, okay? But now let's just say there are obviously the majority of people know what a notary is, and have in their mind an idea of where to find a notary, but they don't know that there are mobile notaries. They know that there is a DoorDash and an Instacart and a Grubhub, right? Because they have a lot of brand recognition. They know about these things, but they don't know that this thing can come in the package as a notary. They just don't know. How do I know they don't know? Because I didn't know at one point, So I had no idea that there was such a thing. So what you can do is you can capture that larger market, that untapped market, by creating awareness. So, how do you do that? Well, this is an interesting story. You see, once upon a time, when people wanted something, they went to the town market where the something they wanted was, and they got it, or they went to a yellow pages maybe, and looked it up and got what they wanted. But somewhere along the line, the idea of giving people something, creating a want out of something that people weren't actually looking for. So this is the larger market. See, this is the TV commercial, the newspaper ad, or now you see it in a Facebook ad, where there's not stuff that you really were looking for, want, or need, but now that it's put in front of you, you've become problem aware. So this is the larger market. So this is where there is a whole lot more money for you and a whole lot less competition, regardless of where you're at. So how do we capture that? See, we know that when somebody is looking for your notary services, whether it's an attorney or a title company who knows that they know that a mobile notary service exists, it's pretty easy, right? That's actually what we call that's the holy grail, is to be there when they're looking for it, to be able to be found by that. But there is a whole nother market of people who don't even know that this service exists, that you want to make them aware. And so there is a process that you can do to capture that larger market. Okay. So how do we do it? Well, you go to your community center and you put flyers there. You go to anywhere there, we'll say there was a high amount of vehicle traffic. For the record, outside of city limits, because this one's a code violation, you put your bandit signs up. Let's say mobile notary service, right? And if it's a high traffic area, that idea now enters their head that, oh, I can have a notary service that comes to me. And you can even change that pitch, not so much mobile, but after hours, right? Because most people's awareness is their circle of awareness is that notaries equal bank, equal UPS store, equal XYZ hours. So they have no idea that it's mobile. They have no idea that it is online either. Okay. So we want to make them aware of that. We want to capture that larger market. So what we do is we simply look at where are the traffic, which is people, where are they going? Where are they corralled at? And if you go stand in front of there, and I don't mean stand in traffic, okay? But if you go stand where that traffic is with that service, you create the awareness. They now become problem aware. For example, the public schools, they have the drive through, the parent pickup loop, we call it. And of course, we have a big banner in the parent pickup loop that is, and everything I'm telling you to do, I do. Okay, I walk the talk. So when I say bandit sign, I do put the bandit sign up. When I say banner up at the parent pickup loop, I have a banner up. When I say flyers at the community center, I do that. So these are things you can do to stand in front of traffic. So on your local social media, odds are your local town, your local community has some type of community business group or just community group in general that allows businesses on certain days to post in there. This is a great chance for you to allow the community to become problem aware. Okay, so now you are capturing a larger market because you are making people aware of a service that didn't know it exists, and it works pretty good. And it subsequently circumvents competition, okay? Because if they aren't doing it, because they're chasing that same avatar, the real estate avatar, you now are you had your sales set. Okay, so there you go. There's some good information there. Take that home and put it to use. There's no limit to the applicability of this, of how you can apply this concept. I just wanted to give you the basic understanding of it, that there are in fact people right in your town, probably right in your neighborhood, that don't know what you do, and you should make them aware of it. And there are people in your community that don't know that even such a service even exists. There's literally people right here in the next neighborhood over that when they found out we offered this mobile notary service, they were ecstatic that I could just come over for $50 and stamp papers and they didn't have to go anywhere. They thought that was a great idea. They're ecstatic about it and they tell everybody else at the golf club about it. So these are opportunities that you can capitalize on. So that is it. Welcome to 2024. Happy New Year. I hope you found that useful. Do not fear the saturation ideology. Do not buy into that. Just buy into creating a better version of your business. Okay? And we will see you on the next one.